everybody. Everybody's looking for love, or trying to find out the magical question, does love hurt? Well, we all know the answer to that question, right? So, thank you for coming to El Centro. We're having a wonderful morning. There's lots of you, lots of people attending. So I'm here to present our speaker, Nika Darab, and she comes from Ridgeland College. And the title of her talk is Differential Equation of a Love Affair, Does Love Hurt?
Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Quick question before I start. Is everybody from Dallas?
No.
Where are y'all coming from?
San Antonio.
Oh my God! Y'all come from San Antonio for love? I appreciate that. Thank you so much. My name is Nika, and today I'm gonna talk about differential equations and love. Now, I'm not gonna be Dr. Love or Hitch or anything like that. That's what I wanted to be since I'm a little girl. But I'm just gonna be focusing on a study that they did in the University of Alberta about like 10 years ago. There's a great book about it. I'm only gonna be focusing on the differential equations part of it, not the psychological or the chemistry part of it. So first, in this presentation, you're going to see a couple of love equations, a couple of definitions, parameters. We're going to see some examples. At the very end, you're going to be able to calculate your own love, rate or whatever. And the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is the dynamic of a relationship. Let's talk about Romeo and Juliet for a second, shall we? The reason that actually I'm having this talk is because, like we all know, our emotions, our feelings in a relationship does not always stay the same. It depends on different parameters, different factors. It always changes. So if we could only find a rate to find our love rate and see how it changes, why it changes, and how fast it changes, wouldn't the world be a better place? I'm gonna talk to you guys about a mathematical model. The first part of the representation is gonna be linearly talking about Romeo and Juliet, regardless of their feelings for each other and how it changes. So, if Romeo's feelings toward Juliet, we consider that, and we are interested in Romeo's feeling, only his feeling, not how it changes, but only his feeling. In time, we came up to this. So, and all of my numbers in this presentation are going to be between -1 and 1. If Romeo's feelings, the RT, is bigger than 0, he loves Juliet. If it's 0, he doesn't care for Juliet. And if it's -0, he just hates her guts. The absolute value, but the intensity of it, though, it doesn't matter if it's love or hate. The more it is, you're going to see more fluctuations in the relationship. So for now, we are going to assume that the feelings of Romeo to Juliet only depends on his own feelings. We are going to find the rate of it, which is dr over dt, the derivative of it. AR is the parameter that we're going to use for the feelings of Romeo over Juliet. Given that, dr over dt is AR over R, after finding the integral of it, and we're going to find RT, which is all we're looking for in a linear world, that is going to be R naught E to ART. Now, this is how we're going to describe Romeo's feelings in this presentation. So if AR is larger than 0, Romeo's feeling is gonna grow exponentially or increase exponentially. If it's 0, then it never changes, and if it's smaller than 0, it will decay exponentially. We can also, with just the same, system, figure out Juliet's feelings. We got dj over dt, and then we got dr over dt for Romeo, dj over dt for Juliet. So just keep this two in mind. Now, if you were Romeo and Juliet, which I'm sure we all have been at some point or time, our feelings are not only dependent of our own feelings. It will change us through time, through, the feelings of our partner. So that's where I'm going to introduce you the concept of PR or PJ. PR and PJ are going to be how, Romeo's feelings to Juliet changes depending on Juliet's, reactions and feelings. So we are kind of getting a little non-linear now. Now, but before we begin though, I need to introduce you guys to the notion of a steady state or equilibrium solution that we are gonna, in this talk about it as R, asterisk and J asterisk. So if both R and J are constant, then it must be the case that associated rates of change, dr over dt and dj over dt, which is 0. So you don't have any changes. And that would be your, the equilibrium. Now, defining that, we're going to be calculating the stability of the relationship. And then after that, I'm going to talk to you guys about the longevity of the relationship. To calculate the stability of a relationship, given that you guys have AR, which is Romeo's feelings, PR, which is Romeo's feeling depend on Juliet's feeling, and then AJ and PJ, which is respectively, we are going to find out the 3 state of relationship that I'm gonna talk about it today. It's not all these states of relationship, but the ones that I'm gonna talk to about. The first one is gonna be explosive. So FAR, AJ minus PR PJ is smaller than 0, or if it's bigger than 0, AR plus AJ is larger than 0. It will be explosive. It will be asymptotically, can't say the word. Asymptotically stable, which means stupid, which means the love for fizzles, which we can get from AR AJ minus PR PJ bigger than 0 and AR plus AJ smaller than 0. And then we got neutrally stable, which is periodic, and I'm gonna go into details about it. AR AJ minus PR PJ is larger than 0 and AR AJ plus PR PJ is 0. So the case 1, which is we're going to explore, is going to be the case of an explosive relationship. So given that these are our numbers for our equation, after some time, as you can see in the picture, RT and JT increases very rapidly as T goes to infinity, R goes to infinity, and J goes to infinity. T goes to infinity, J goes to infinity as well. Does the relationship last? It does. In fact, Romeo's feelings for Juliet increases over time and actually becomes stronger. Now, we say that is a steady state is unstable. This is what you actually want. You want an unstable relationship, not in a sense that 2 crazy people get together and be unstable, but in a sense that you don't want to be completely stable and a flat line in your relationship. You want ups and downs. If this is what you're into. The trajectory forms an orbit around the origin. So Romeo and Juliet both go through periods of love and hate. And neither Romeo or Juliet feelings become explosive or fizzle. So it goes through love and hate, and it doesn't fizzle or it doesn't die. Now, as you can see, this part of the equation, ARAJ minus PRPJ is larger than 0, and ARAJ plus PRPJ is larger than 0. The second case that we're going to talk about today is a case of a periodic love. Now, as you can see, in this case, Romeo's feelings start with negative, but he has a positive rate. He responds positively to Juliet. And same as Juliet. Juliet feelings, but the opposite. So Juliet feelings start positively, but it responds negatively to Romeo, which is what we call a fickle lover. So the people that the more you like them, the more they hate you. If the more you hate you, the more you like them. Like the worst. In this, so it has a very it's a crazy relationship. It's very, can't even say this word, tumultuous, or whatever that is. Well, you know what it means. It means very unrest. And it goes to infinity. So the steady state is unstable, so it doesn't die, but their feelings constantly oscillates between love and hate. And it's important to remember the intensity of their mood swings does not change. The relationship is periodic, so they either love each other or they hate each other, and it goes on forever. And you can see we got positive for ARAJ minus PRPJ, and ARAJ plus PRPJ is, this had to be AR plus PR. That's my bad. The last relationship that I'm going to talk about is fizzling relationship. So AR, so you can see Romeo starts having negative feelings. He also responds negatively to Juliet. Juliet has negative feelings to Romeo. She also responds negatively to Juliet. So they just hate each other. This is where the definition of relationship comes. In my presentation, the only two people who don't have a relationship with each other are the people who actually don't have feelings for each other. So if you love somebody or if you hate somebody, you still have a relationship with them. So after at some point, RT and JT go to 0 as T goes to infinity. Does it last? The relationship fizzles, because they both go to 0. And as you can see, it says this word, asymptotically stable. So that's the part that goes to 0, and eventually they're not going to have feelings for each other. The conclusion that we get from this is that, so you got, in a very sci-fi world, that we can put numbers to how much we love our partners, or how much we hate them. As long as you got these parameters, you might come to, you might come to a conclusion of how does your love, changes over time, and you can, play games. But the steady, and by playing games, I didn't mean it like that. I'm probably gonna get an email about it. But I'm gonna introduce you the last slide that tells you how you can calculate your own relationship number. So the 3 state of relationship that we talked today was the stable, that the relationship fails, and it means that they're going to end up not having feelings for each other. If it's unstable and the steady state is 0, 0 in origin, the relationship persists. Their feelings may change drastically, like we talked. It goes to love and hate and love, and it just it goes up and down indefinitely. And if it's mutually stable, their relationship is periodic. Sometimes they love each other, sometimes they hate each other. Now, this is how you're going to calculate your own love rate. Now, I might add, if you want to take a picture of any slide, this is the slide you want to take a picture. You might want to bring this up as a game with your partner. So the number, you shouldn't take this that seriously. But you can ask them all these questions and get these numbers, between -1 and 1. I hope you're not in a relationship that they give you like a negative number. It's not a healthy relationship. And this is what you get. If your ARAJ minus PRPJ is smaller than 0, it's unstable and it's explosive. It persists, but it changes drastically. If it's larger than 0, and AR plus AJ, which is the right thing, is larger than 0, it doesn't last. Sorry. And if AR AJ minus PRPJ is larger than 0, and AR plus AJ is 0, your relationship lasts, and you two have a predictable feeling, and your relationship will survive. And these are my sources, so you definitely want to have a more look into it. There is a book for it. We got the course in mathematical biology, quantitative modeling with mathematical and computational tools, and also a great website, the University of Alberta. I wanted to thank you guys for listening to me and laughing at my corny jokes. And also I want to thank Professor Panay for helping me with this corny topic. But definitely Do you guys have any questions that I can answer?
I just have one comment.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In psychology, they say actually the opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is
It's
indifference.
Absolutely.
So maybe you should incorporate this in a.
Next time.
The
Next
indifference
next year.
will-
Absolutely.
will-
Absolutely.
And